What do you think was your proudest moment? Was it the advent of the AFLW, the Bulldogs winning the premiership, or the women's team winning their premiership? What stands out to you as the most personally happy moment in that football space?
Well, of course, winning the premiership was incredible after 62 years, and that's a dream that I always wanted to see come true. But for me personally, seeing women given the same opportunities as their male counterparts, because that was something I've been hoping for probably over 50 years. And behind the scenes, I've been doing a lot to try and make that happen. And to see the women run out onto the ground in the first year at the premiership, when I took out the premiership cup, that to me was a defining moment in my life.
Yeah.
And it's something I'll never forget because I knew I played a part in history.
Yeah, and a very big part. You can sort of see how, for you personally, that there's a very strong connection between I've seen some photos of you standing there in the huddle at the St Kilda Sharks with the girls, so I could sort of see that, whereas in AFL there's a lot more moving pieces, and it's been around for, as you say, 62 years was it, without a grand final?
Well, that was for the boys.
Yeah.
The girls, do you aware,
delivered quickly.
But are you aware of how long women's football has been around?
In Victoria, no. I mean, I know from personal experience playing with a lot of women up to the age of 15 that many have played. Well, I'll
give you a little bit of history.
Yeah. Well, you played.
I played. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I had to retire at 15. But it goes back to about 1913, and in fact even further back. But it's in the history books. There's a book out called Play On by Rob Hess, a professor from Victoria University.
Okay.
It started in 1913 when the men went to war. This is in Perth, Western Australia.
Really?
And the women slotted into the men's positions. So football has been around for women a long time. I always say to the men, you've had about 150 years on us. Give us a break. 100 years is always, the first 100 years is always the hardest. So women have been playing football since 1913, officially.
Yeah.
It went back even further, but officially.
Yeah.
So it's not something that was created in the last 20, 30 years.
No. That's for sure. Look, I agree with you on that. I'm sure it's been around for a very long... I mean, the fact of... I'm pretty sure this is something my grandmother used to talk about quite a lot. She didn't play, but is a similar thing. She's like, the women used to play. It's like, yeah. That's interesting about in Perth. So did they play was that the state level back then?
Yeah, it was between two shops. I forget the name of the store, but again, it's in that history book, but it was between two stores.
Yeah.
And the women played with the men. And of course, that's what wasn't going to last for a long time because of, the male physique as opposed
coming
to
back, coming back from war and saying, hey, it's our thing.
But it was great. The women loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine they were playing in these long pants and hats and, oh my God, honestly, I don't know how they played football, but they did.
It's always good to hear those little, tidbits of history. Like to think that this game was only created really round the corner because people got bored during the off-season of cricket. Mm-hmm. I think the first official game was played between two schools, wasn't it? I think it was like Melbourne and Scotch College.
Exactly, and I'm still involved with Scotch College. I'm their patron for the women's team.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard somewhere that you've been quite involved recently at Siena.
Yes.
Because you attended Siena, yeah.
Yes.
What have you been doing there?
Well, when I attended Siena, there were 129 students and we had two houses and that was it.
Okay.
And of course, it's all changed.
What were the houses back then?
Oh, just ordinary houses, 3-bedroom homes, and that's where. So we were. When I say houses, just 3-bedroom houses.
Right. So it was
dwellings.
a boarding school back then.
No, not at all. And 129 students, and of course it grew and grew and grew. And the nuns that taught me had a profound effect on me as to doing the things that I do right up until this day about giving back, being kind, caring, all of the above. And they're quite landlocked there. I remember when they started doing the development after I left and going going up. they contacted me a number of years ago and said, the records were not very good. Everything was in writing, and I mean, it's been a long time since I've been at that school, a long, long time. And they came to see me, and I said, well, I'll see what I can do to help you. I'll go out there and see what I can do. And we were not talking fundraising at that point in time. They're trying to build up an alumni, and I said, right, I know some of the girls that went to school with me, and gave them their names and addresses, email addresses, which didn't exist when I went to school. And it all evolved from there. And then, of course, I became involved with the redevelopment and helped raise a lot of money. I gave a lot of money of my own because I felt it was important to do it and to show leadership.
Yeah.
And, of course, now the school hall now is named after me.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's the Susan Alberti Auditorium. So
Wow.
I never get lost when I go there now. I just look for my name.
I'm home.
Yeah.
Where did you, because I noticed you were born in Gippsland. You seem to have a very, albeit you're a decade and a half younger than my grandmother. You sort of born in a similar area, went to a similar sort of school. She went to Sacre-Cœur.
Oh, my daughter went there.
Oh, did she?
Here in Glen Iris.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we couldn't afford that.
Really?
My parents couldn't afford Sacre-Cœur.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
So the Sacre-Cœur back then, geez, I mean, maybe
It's a boarding school.
Yeah, it was a boarding school because there's absolutely, well, I don't know. It's hard to tell because my great-grandfather was a printer he printed the local Gippsland newspapers, particularly for Foster and that surrounding region as well. I would not guess that they're the wealthy type. So either she had a scholarship or...
That's how it was.
It must have been a more achievable school to attend back then. But yeah.
Well, my parents didn't have the money. It just wasn't even thought about. I was born in Bairnsdale at the Bairnsdale Hospital, and my father had just come out of the war.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where did he serve?
Oh, he was a drill sergeant. He trained the soldiers to go overseas.
Really?
He was a very fit man, my father, and no, he didn't actually go overseas, but he trained the soldiers. And he came out of the war after all that time and joined the police force.
Okay.
And the year that he joined the police force was the year I was born. And Dad was then transferred to Melbourne, to Russell Street. I think it was Russell Street. And that's where his career started off in the police force. But I was born in Bairnsdale.
Okay.
Didn't have a lot of time there, but I still go back there because I've still got relatives from Bairnsdale that still live there and still have businesses there. So I'm a country girl at heart, really I am. Yeah.
Where did you grow up? What sort of were the suburbs? Was it Footscray?
Never, ever lived in the west of Melbourne.
Okay.
Never, ever.
So how did the Footscray thing come
I
about?
know, I often get asked that. My father was stationed over that side of town at that time, and the only way I was allowed to go to the football, he's gone to God now, so it doesn't matter, was if he dropped me off and picked me up in a police car.
In a police car as well?
I know. The kids were scared of me. So that's why I barracked for Footscray. And plus, he barracked for North Melbourne, and I didn't like blue and white. And being the rebel that I am, I never did as I was told. I'm only joking. I like red, white and blue.
Yeah.
Australian colours, American colours, French colours, So I thought, I like red, white and blue better. And there's 3 colours. Why have 2 when you can have 3?
Yeah.